What would you think if I told you that in just two simple observations, you could see straight through to anyone's soul? Behind every smile, every charming conversation, and every impressive story, there are two tiny windows that reveal who someone really is when they think nobody's watching. We live in a world of masterful performers. People have become experts at crafting the perfect image, saying the right words, and presenting the best version of themselves. Dating apps showcase highlight reels. Social media displays curated perfection. Even in person, we've all learned to put on our most impressive mask when meeting someone new. But here's the truth that most people don't realize. Authentic character can never be completely hidden. No matter how skilled someone becomes at managing their image, their real self always finds a way to leak through. And once you know where to look, you'll see it every single time. These aren't complicated psychological assessments that require years of training to understand. They're not mysterious personality tests or complex behavioral analyses. They're two simple, everyday moments that happen constantly around us. Yet most people walk right past these revealing moments without ever noticing what they're seeing. The beauty of these two indicators is their simplicity. They don't require special circumstances or dramatic situations to observe. They happen in coffee shops, elevators, parking lots, and grocery stores. They occur during casual conversations, brief interactions, and routine daily activities. They're so common that we often overlook their profound significance. But once you learn to recognize these moments, something remarkable happens. You develop what I call authentic vision, the ability to see past the performance and glimpse the person's true character. This skill will transform how you navigate relationships, both romantic and platonic. It will help you identify genuine people worth investing your time in, and it will protect you from those who might not have your best interests at heart. More importantly, these same indicators will help you examine your own authenticity. They'll serve as a mirror, reflecting back whether you're living in alignment with your values or simply performing for others' approval. Before we dive into these two powerful indicators, let's understand why they work. Psychologists have long studied what they call behavioral consistency, the idea that people's true character shows up most clearly when they're not consciously managing their behavior. Dr. Samuel Gosling, a personality psychologist at the University of Texas, conducted extensive research on what he calls behavioral residue, the unconscious traces people leave that reveal their authentic selves. His studies show that these unconscious moments are often more accurate predictors of character than deliberate self-presentation. The reason is simple. When we're performing for others, we engage what psychologists call our executive function, the part of our brain that monitors and controls our behavior. But when we think nobody important is watching, or when we're dealing with routine situations, this mental guard relaxes. That's when our authentic self emerges. Carl Jung understood this phenomenon deeply. He wrote about the difference between the persona, the mask we wear for the world, and the authentic self that exists beneath it. Jung believed that moments of unguarded behavior were precious opportunities to glimpse someone's true nature. These insights form the foundation for understanding why the two indicators we're about to explore are so powerful. They occur precisely during those unguarded moments when people reveal who they really are. The first window to the soul, how they treat the invisible. Picture this scene. You're on a first date at a nice restaurant. Your date is charming, articulate, and impressively attentive to you. They're asking thoughtful questions, sharing interesting stories, and making you feel like the most fascinating person in the world. But then the server approaches. In that moment, everything changes. Maybe your date barely acknowledges the server's existence. Perhaps they speak in a dismissive tone, or show impatience when their order isn't perfect. Maybe they don't say, please, or thank you, treating the server like a piece of restaurant equipment rather than a human being. What you've just witnessed is one of the most reliable character reveals that exists: how someone treats people who have no power to benefit them, no ability to enhance their reputation, and no influence over their life outcomes. This phenomenon extends far beyond restaurants. Watch how someone interacts with the janitor at their office building. Notice their behavior toward the grocery store cashier, the parking attendant, or the person cleaning tables at the coffee shop. Observe their reaction when a homeless person asks for help, or when someone makes an innocent mistake that inconveniences them slightly. The psychology behind this behavior pattern is fascinating. When someone consistently shows kindness to people who can't reciprocate, they're revealing something profound about their internal value system. They're demonstrating what psychologists call intrinsic prosocial behavior, kindness that comes from genuine care rather than strategic calculation. Dr. Adam Grant's research on giving behavior shows that people who help others without expectation of return tend to have higher levels of empathy, stronger moral reasoning, and more stable self-esteem. These individuals don't need to feel superior to others to feel good about themselves. Conversely, when someone treats service workers, subordinates, or strangers poorly, they're revealing insecurity and a fragmented sense of self-worth. This behavior often stems from what psychologists call compensatory superiority, the need to feel better than others because of deep-seated feelings of inadequacy. Think about the last time you witnessed someone being unnecessarily rude to a server or dismissive to a store employee. How did it make you feel? Most people instinctively recognize this behavior as a red flag because it violates our basic sense of human dignity and equality. But here's what makes this indicator so powerful: it's almost impossible to fake consistently. Someone might remember to be extra polite to service workers when they're consciously trying to impress you, but authentic kindness has a quality that kindness lacks. Genuine compassion flows naturally and consistently, without the conscious effort that characterizes performed behavior. Real empathy shows up in subtle ways. The person who makes eye contact with the server and asks about their day, who says, "Thank you," with genuine warmth, who remains patient when something goes wrong, who treats every person they encounter as worthy of basic respect and consideration. This behavior reveals someone who has done the inner work to recognize their own worth without needing to diminish others. It shows emotional maturity, secure self-esteem, and a value system based on fundamental human dignity rather than social hierarchies. Watch for the small moments. Do they hold doors open for people behind them? Do they say, "Excuse me," when they accidentally bump into someone? Do they show appreciation for small acts of service? These tiny interactions reveal enormous truths about character. Contract of promises. The second window into someone's soul might surprise you with its simplicity: how they handle promises, both big and small. But before you dismiss this as obvious, consider how rarely people actually pay attention to promise patterns, and how revealing these patterns truly are. A promise is more than just words. It's a declaration of values. When someone makes a commitment, they're not just agreeing to a specific action, they're making a statement about how much they value integrity, reliability, and respect for others' time and emotions. This indicator works because promise-keeping requires what psychologists call effortful control, the ability to follow through on commitments even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or no longer beneficial. It requires putting your word above your momentary feelings, impulses, or changing circumstances. Start paying attention to small promises first. When someone says they'll call you back, do they? When they commit to meeting at a specific time, do they show up when they said they would? When they promise to send you that article they mentioned, do you actually receive it? These seemingly minor commitments reveal major character traits. Dr. Roy Baumeister's research on self-control shows that people who consistently follow through on small commitments tend to have better self-regulation overall. They are more likely to achieve their goals, maintain stable relationships, and demonstrate reliability in important life areas. But it's not just about keeping promises, it's also about how someone handles the inevitable times when they can't follow through. Life happens. Circumstances change. Emergencies arise. The character reveal isn't in the occasional broken promise. It's in how someone responds when they realize they can't keep their word. A person with strong character will reach out as soon as they realize they can't keep a commitment. They'll offer a genuine explanation without making excuses. They'll apologize sincerely and propose an alternative solution. They'll take full responsibility without blaming others or minimizing the impact of their broken promise. In contrast, someone with weaker character will often handle broken promises through avoidance, excuse-making, or blame-shifting. They might simply not show up and hope you won't bring it up. They might offer elaborate explanations that paint them as the victim of circumstances. They might minimize the importance of the commitment. It wasn't that big of a deal anyway. Watch for promise inflation, people who consistently commit to more than they can deliver. This pattern often reveals either poor self-awareness, a desperate need for approval, or a casual relationship with truth-telling. Someone who regularly overpromises is showing you that they prioritize making a good impression in the moment over maintaining integrity over time. The most reliable people often underpromise and overdeliver. They're realistic about their capabilities and commitments. They'd rather surprise you by doing more than they said they would than disappoint you by falling short of their commitments. Pay attention to patterns over time. One broken promise might be an anomaly. A pattern of broken promises is a character reveal. Someone who consistently fails to keep their word is showing you that their commitments don't carry significant weight in their decision-making process. These two character indicators work because they tap into fundamental aspects of human psychology and moral development. They reveal what psychologists call moral consistency, the alignment between someone's stated values and their actual behavior when those values are tested. Lawrence Kohlberg's research on moral development shows that the highest levels of ethical reasoning involve consistent behavior based on universal principles of human dignity and integrity. People operating at this level treat others with respect regardless of social status, and they honor their commitments because they value integrity itself, not just the consequences of being seen as reliable. These behaviors also reveal emotional intelligence and secure attachment patterns. People who treat others with consistent kindness and who honor their commitments tend to have healthier relationship patterns overall. They've learned to see others as full human beings worthy of respect, rather than as objects to be used or obstacles to be overcome. Red flags and green flags. What to watch for. As you begin observing these patterns, you'll start noticing specific behaviors that serve as clear indicators of character. Let me share some specific examples of what to watch for. Green flags in service interactions. Making eye contact and using the person's name if it's visible on a name tag. Saying please, thank you, and you're welcome naturally. Remaining patient when mistakes happen or service is slow. Asking, how's your day going? And actually listening to the response. Tipping appropriately and treating it as standard rather than exceptional generosity. Defending service workers when others treat them poorly. Red flags in service interactions. Speaking to service workers in a noticeably different tone than they use with you. Showing impatience or irritation over minor delays or mistakes. Treating service workers as invisible or interrupting them. Making demands rather than requests. Complaining excessively about service issues. Taking out unrelated frustrations on people who are just doing their jobs. Green flags in promise patterns. Being realistic about what they can commit to. Following through on small commitments consistently. Communicating proactively if circumstances change. Offering specific alternatives when they can't keep original commitments. Apologizing genuinely when they fall short. Learning from broken promises and adjusting future commitments accordingly. Red flags and promise patterns. Making grand gestures or commitments that seem unrealistic. Consistently being late or missing commitments. Offering excuses that blame others or circumstances. Minimizing the importance of broken promises. Making the same types of promises repeatedly without following through. Becoming defensive when their reliability is questioned. As you develop the ability to see these character indicators in others, you'll inevitably begin noticing them in yourself. This self-awareness is perhaps the most valuable outcome of understanding these principles. Ask yourself these honest questions. How do you treat people who can't benefit you professionally or socially? When you're having a bad day, do you take it out on service workers or strangers? Do you see every person you encounter as worthy of basic courtesy and respect? Examine your promise patterns. Do you commit to things impulsively without considering whether you can realistically follow through? When you realize you can't keep a commitment, do you handle it with integrity? Are you known as someone whose word can be trusted? These questions aren't meant to judge or shame, they're meant to illuminate. Most of us have room for improvement in these areas. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness and gradual growth toward greater authenticity and integrity. Building your own authentic character. Once you understand these indicators, you can consciously work to develop stronger character in these areas. This isn't about performing kindness or reliability for others to see. It's about becoming the kind of person whose actions naturally align with positive values. Developing genuine kindness. Practice seeing every person you encounter as someone's beloved child, parent, or friend. Challenge yourself to make positive contact with at least one service worker each day. Notice your internal reactions to people in different social positions and work to equalize them. Volunteer in settings where you serve people without receiving recognition or benefit. Strengthening promise integrity. Before making any commitment, pause and realistically assess your ability to follow through. Keep a record of commitments you make to help you remember and track your reliability. Develop systems and habits that help you honor your word consistently. Practice the skill of saying no to requests you can't fulfill with excellence. As you master the ability to see and develop these character traits, you'll notice profound changes in your relationships and life experiences. You'll become more skilled at identifying people who share your values and more confident in your ability to assess compatibility quickly. You'll also find that as you strengthen your own character in these areas, you naturally attract people who appreciate and reciprocate these qualities. Authentic kindness draws authentic kindness. Reliable people gravitate toward other reliable people. This isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming real. It's about closing the gap between who you say you are and who you actually are in unguarded moments. It's about building a character so solid that you never have to remember what mask to wear because you're always authentically yourself. The people who matter will appreciate this authenticity. Those who don't appreciate it are revealing important information about their own character, helping you make better decisions about where to invest your time and emotional energy. Remember, character isn't built in dramatic moments. It's built in the accumulation of small, daily choices. How you treat the cashier at the grocery store matters. Whether you show up when you say you will matters. These seemingly small behaviors create the foundation of who you are and determine the quality of relationships you'll build throughout your life. The next time you're observing someone new, whether it's a potential romantic partner, a new friend, or a business colleague, remember these two simple windows to the soul. Watch how they treat people who can't benefit them, and notice how they handle their promises. These observations will tell you more about their character than hours of impressive conversation ever could. And as you go about your own day, remember that others are watching these same indicators in you. Every interaction is an opportunity to demonstrate your values, to practice integrity, and to show the world who you really are when you think nobody important is watching. Because here's the truth, someone is always watching. And more importantly, you're always watching yourself, building either pride or shame with each choice you make. Choose to be someone you'd want to know. Choose to be someone you'd trust with your heart. Choose to be authentic in the moments when authenticity costs you something, because those are the moments that define who you truly are.